Are you looking for inspiration on a daily basis? Well, check out Deal to Heal Tees. With our inspirational tees, you're sure to find something that will inspire you. Just go to dealtohealtees.myshopify.com. That's Deal to Heal Tees. Get some inspiration in your situation. Wear inspirational tee and be inspired all day. That's Deal to Heal Tees at dealtohealtees.myshopify.com. Hi guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you'll enjoy the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I'm your host, Earnest James. And on my podcast, my guests and I discuss topics and ways to help us to heal in every area of our lives. I believe that everyone can and should live a life that is whole, healed, and healthy. And therefore, I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with their problems, heal from the pain, and to fulfill their purpose. So check out our podcast. We're on Google Podcasts, Spotify, or even on Audible. And if you want to watch the podcast, check us out on our YouTube channel at Deal to Heal with E. James Podcast. Until then, see you soon. Welcome to the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with E. James. We believe that the relationship between a dad and daughter is one of the most important relationships in a woman's life. Our mission is to promote the daddy-daughter relationship by spreading the voices of girl dads to the world and give love and support to all of our dads and their daughters. Let's get to it. Let's tune in. Welcome to the Girl Dad Discussions podcast. I am your host, Earnest James, and we believe that the relationship between a father and daughter is one of the most important relationships in a young woman's life. And so our mission is to promote the daddy-daughter relationship by spreading the voices of girl dads to the world and give our love and support to all of our dads and their daughters. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Girl Dad Discussions podcast. If you haven't already, make sure that you listen, like, subscribe, and share to our podcast on all of your social media platforms, as well as check out our new YouTube channel. Our new YouTube channel at Deal to Heal Podcasting Network. Make sure you guys check us out there, where you can find not only the Girl Dad Discussions podcast, but you'll also find the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, as well as some other podcasts. So make sure you guys go there and check us out. And there definitely, again, the Girl Dad Discussions podcast is there, and the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast is there as well. So make sure you guys go there and check us out. Our product of the week, as you guys know, we are a self-sustained podcast, and one of the ways that we stay on the air is by bringing you amazing products for you to purchase to help us to pay our bills. And so this week's product is our purpose journal, as well as our purpose planner, because I believe that we should journal in order to keep track of where we've been and where we are in our lives, as well as plan for our future. So make sure you guys get your purpose journal and your purpose planner. You can find them on Amazon. The links are in the description of the podcast. So whether you're watching it on YouTube or you're listening to it on your podcasting platform, the links is also in the description, as well as some other links that we have for some other things that you guys might want to check out. So make sure you guys go there and check them out, right? So, excuse me, today, just like any other day, we are blessed with the guest, Mr. Sinbad. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? It's nice to be here. Appreciate it. Happy to be here to speak in front of everybody, and definitely just have a discussion that can help girl dads and help girls that don't have dads or do have a dad. It's wonderful to be here.
No problem. First of all, let me say thank you for being here, because you could have been doing anything else with anyone else, but you're here with me, right? And my listeners, and we definitely appreciate it. So, do me a favor, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are and what it is that you do.
All right. So my name is Joshua Capers, but you guys can call me Sinbad JDP as I've been announced as. I am a musician. I sing, I rap, and I'm also a motivational speaker, and I help with mindset shifting on teaching people to get back up and don't look down. And I also am a father advocate. I'm plan on making a helping people become a first time father and coaching them through those through so helping young men through fatherhood, shifting their mindsets to get back up, don't look down, and change their narrative through transformation and resiliency. So that's all there is about me right now.
Right, right, right. So, Josh, Sinbad, I was going to say Joshua, Sinbad. So we met actually this year at the Next Level Speakers Conference. Is where you were introduced to me. I think your friend introduced you to me, and
Yes.
yeah, tell me about how that came about, because I don't even think I actually even about the backstory, but I do remember, of course, meeting you.
Yeah. So definitely the day prior to meeting you, his name is Dorian. We was having lunch together because I met him at the conference. So,
Okay.
I was just going around looking to connect with people, speaking, getting knowledge on and information on people's story, how they got there. And I was talking to him and his wife and another woman that was there. And we just started talking about all our plans, what we're doing there, and I told him about how I want to help fathers. I want to start my own first time fathers program and such, because me as a first time father, me seeing how society's going, how most people are fatherless or people don't know how to be a father
Mhm.
these days because they didn't have a father, is like very scarce. So we were just talking about that, and he was like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to Ernest and such." So I was like, "Okay, bet, let's do that." So the next day after that, we were just chilling. We had lunch again, and we was doing the break, and then he saw you, so he was like, "Oh, he's like, you're right there." So we don't walk by. We was waiting for you to finish a conversation, but then after
Yeah.
that, he got a little impatient. Was like, "You know what? I gotta cut in right quick. I want to introduce you to my boy Sinbad, so then we can,
Right.
so we can chop it up and connect."
Yeah, yeah. So that was cool. That was cool. Definitely, man, really enjoyed the conference. For my listeners, we are both a part of a speaking organization called the Next Level Speakers. And great organization. I don't get paid to say it, um, but I say it because I believe it. You know what I mean? Great organization, and very happy to be a part of it. And so that was where we met. And so had the opportunity to meet you, and of course exchange information and follow you, and also learn that you are a girl dad. And so here we are,
Definitely.
to have this discussion. And not only are you a one-time girl dad, but now, you know what I'm saying, you got another one right
Two
on the way. So tell me a
times.
little bit about that.
Definitely. Before you get, I want to double down also on saying on the Next Level Speakers Academy because you don't get paid for it and you're part of it. I want to say they're a great organization just from me being at the conference because I'm not even officially a part of the academy, but being there was so elevating, so transformative. It's like anybody that's looking to be a speaker, you need to be part of that. Like you need to find some way to either just come to a conference, go to a Zoom meeting, or get in the academy, do something that you can, because that was very, very good. Like without it, I would have never met you, would have never met Dorian, I wouldn't even have this opportunity to be here and such. I don't know what I'd be doing by this point. So definitely. But to answer your question, yeah, I'm a two-time girl dad now. you know. So my first daughter, she was born in 2021. When admittedly, when I found out my wife, who was my girlfriend then, I was one out. We found out she was pregnant, and admittedly, I wanted my first child to be a girl. I just kept thinking about it, and I'm like, man, it would be cool if I had a girl and such. I want a son, of course. Like now I definitely want a son, but right now when that was happening, I was like, wow, I really want to know if I want to if I'm gonna have a girl. My wife's mom, she had a dream that we had a girl. Then a few months to a few weeks before my wife gave birth, I had a dream that I was looking at like a baby girl and such, and I was like, yo, I think we're about to have a girl for real. And that's when it happened at the gender reveal, and it was like, oh my goodness, I'm really gonna have it. My dad, he jokingly at the gender reveal, he had, hey, I had my dad and mom has five boys because they was trying to get a girl. So when they found out that but that my wife was pregnant and such, they was like, hey, if you have a girl, you gotta name her Aaliyah. You gotta name her Aaliyah and such. And then it was like, okay, we didn't name her Aaliyah, but we did, but it was basically like he was very excited at the fact that we was into having a girl. My dad saw that we was having a girl at the gender reveal, and he just blurted out saying, "Oh, since I have five boys, you're gonna have five girls." And now I'm like, yo, now after the second, and now the second time of them revealing what we're having the second time around, they said it's another girl. I was like, wow. I don't know. What he said might be coming true. I hope not, because I want a son. But but look, hey, it looked like it's happening at this point.
Right, right. I shared on here before. I have a friend of mine who wanted a son, and he ended up having seven girls in a row. You know, and I
Damn,
was like, dude, I would have stopped. I would have stopped at like maybe two or three. Maybe by the third one, I think I probably
baby.
like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Definitely by five. I wouldn't have made it to seven. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
the funny part is my my funny part is my mom and dad, they at the fifth child, my dad wanted to keep going, but the doctor was like, "Hey, y'all gotta stop, bro. It's not happening. You're only producing boys. The Y chromosomes it ain't helping you right now." So, shoot. But if anything here, I, I like five kids and such myself and such, like four or five. So we'll see what's happening. After the third one, if it's a girl, at that point it's like, hey, I'm just gonna hang it up. I guess I'll just say I'm having nothing but girls. But hopefully I do have that son and such. It'll be great. But right now I'm happy at the fact that I got two girls back to back, you know.
Right.
Like, definitely.
So how did you find out with both daughters? How did you find out that you were guys were going to have a child? You know, with both ones. Were you guys planning on having children at the time, or was it a surprise, or were you just like, yeah, we'll see what happens?
Okay, so the first one unintentionally unplanned, intentionally but unintentionally. It was like
Yeah.
we just met each other practically. Okay, so like we've been going to school to each other. We've known each other like since eighth grade and everything. Like I've been like I wanted this girl in the eighth grade for the longest, and but she didn't want me back. So for a while I've been trying to get her, and it's been a few years, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. I give up. I'm just gonna try my hand elsewhere. So I got into a relationship, dating somebody else, hanging around with other people, and that relationship ended, and me and her started talking and such. And at one point, it's just like we started connecting. So I was like, yo, we should just, we gotta connect, we gotta meet with each other, hang out. And this was our first time actually getting to know each other because like we knew each other's names, but
Mhm.
that's just far as it went. And ever since then, so once we finally started getting to know each other, understanding who we are, one thing led to the next and such, and it was just like, hey, I'm pregnant, and this is like this is like a month or two after the fact that we started officially dating. So it was just kind of like, yo, I was on my way to work. and I'm riding the bus at this time, and I'm on my way to work and such, and she sends me a video in the morning of her had taken the test, and then it's when I tell you her reaction showed me everything that I needed to know. She didn't even have to show the thing. She didn't have to say yes or no. Just the reaction, just her going. I'm like, oh my goodness, this ain't no. This definitely ain't a no. I was dumbfounded. I didn't even know what to say. All I could do was just think and then smile. And she's like, "Are you gonna say anything?" And I'm like, "Bro, I gotta talk to you later. I'm at work." So
Like I got to
that was,
process this whole thing.
I need to process this. I'm about to be a father. Me? I didn't. I did not expect that. This was 2020, so I was not expecting any of that at all. Like that's when life really started to take a turn. Um, the second time around, we was already talking about it for a while. Like we was already talking about how we want a big family, or at least a good sized family and such. I have four brothers, so it's five of us with my mom and dad. My wife's parents, they have three or four. They had four. They had three girls, one boy and such. And us is five boys, so we like, a nice, a good size amount of kids and everything would be cool. We want to have them like close to each other, not too far in age and such. So it was just like, a year or two can be straight, but it honestly took 3 years because like we was trying, but we wasn't trying still until we
Mm.
moved out of her mom's house. Then that's when it really started trying happening. And then one day, like it didn't like look like it was happening. She just wasn't getting pregnant. So one day I'm at home, I'm knocked out, I'm sleeping and such, and then I wake up and her and my daughter are just staring at me. And I'm like, what y'all looking at? Is something on me? Something on top of me? She was like, she was like, you don't feel it? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? So she pointed at my chest and I picked it up. I looked at the test and it said positive. And I was just like, yeah, and she had the camera in front of me too. So I'm just like, yo, the first thing I said, I looked at my daughter and was like, you ready to be a big sister?
Right,
and,
right.
and that was all it had. That was everything from there.
Cool, cool, man. Amazing story, amazing story. So, how has your experience of being a father? So let's go back to your first daughter, and we can also talk about your second daughter too. Excuse
Yeah.
me, but to the point, like we know we're pregnant, we know we're having a baby, but then the day comes where your daughter's actually born, right? And then now you're holding her for the first time. What was that experience like? And even bringing her home, as a not just a father, but as a unit, as a family, but even you as a father, because now the first time having a child, first time bringing her home, and then now just like that reality of like I'm a girl dad now. So how was that whole experience, from her being born, and how, what did you feel, in that moment, and then how was your experience even after you got her home?
So that is that's a wave of emotions, a different wave of emotions that happens with the process because my wife, she has health conditions and such. So she was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, so she didn't even know if she can like get pregnant and such. So when she found out it was a shocker and such. So the like her being pregnant was already like a journey in itself, like her the first time around because we're going to they said she's high risk, so can't drink stuff like soda or eating fast food too much. They said that it's a possibility you can miscarry because of the hyperthyroidism and any other health issues she's having. Then one day, she started bleeding and such, and this is like early in the pregnancy. This is like a week or
Mm.
two, like 2 3 weeks, like and actually it's like a month after the fact that we found out she's pregnant and everything, you know. and like she's bleeding. We called the OBGYN, then they was like, oh, you're miscarrying and such. So we thought that she miscarried, so we cried and everything. We thought the baby was gone, but then like throughout the whole month of January and such, her stomach was growing. So we was like, yo, what? Like we don't know what's happening. So she they kept doing blood tests and everything. Like for that whole month, they kept doing like blood tests, taking her urine, and they just kept saying your levels are still showing pregnant and da da da. But they never did an ultrasound. So we just still thinking that she's not pregnant, and then her stomach got big. So we're like, "Are you like what's going on though? Like if you miscarried and such, then it like this shouldn't be happening." So the OBGYN was talking about, "Oh, you got to get cleaned out. You got to go to the hospital. They're gonna do the ultrasound and clean you out." So we don't went over there, and like they had me wait outside because this is still during COVID. So I had to wait outside while she's all the way in the hospital. So I'm just wondering, and be there for like an hour, maybe like from like we were there like the whole day and such. So I was waiting outside for hours, and they go in there and they tell her that they found a heartbeat and that the baby that you still finna have a baby. I don't know what the OBGYN was telling you and such and whatnot, but they did tell her that she was still a little high risk, so she did. So the possibility of miscarrying was still there, and so, but we were just relieved and happy at the fact that she was that we're still having a baby. So it was like, wow, this is something new. Like for a whole month, we thought you didn't, so we was planning our lives to be different, and now this comes in. We're still having a baby, so now we got to go back to how we're going to plan our lives and then get ready for it and try to find a better OBGYN because we left that one because she didn't know what she was
Right.
talking
Yeah.
about. And
Definitely.
yeah, but the problem is, like having the insurance that she had and then trying to find one. There's a lot of places that are saying either they don't accept the insurance or they're saying we accept the insurance, but you're too far along, or and they're not trying to take them. There is one place that we found that was really good, but they said, "Oh, we take people the furthest we can go is 27 weeks, but you're 27 weeks and like 4 days, so we can't take you." So that was like, wow, we're right there. We're right there on the mark.
Right.
You still don't want to take us until we finally just found somebody and such, which for her for her mostly was like a traumatizing experience and such
Mhm.
because of like it was a male OBGYN. He rushed everything. All he cared about was just trying to come in and come out and doing all types of different things and such. And but throughout the whole experience, just it leading up to that and going through all of that is just the fact that it's like, okay, we're here because they told her since they told her that the baby wasn't growing by the time I think my daughter was born around like at 38 weeks. So by week 37 they said they're gonna take her in and they're gonna induce her and such because they don't look like the baby's growing and such. So after that, um they waited a week, then they said she's not growing, we got to induce you because we don't want the baby to come out of stillborn. So the very moment that we get there, they start to induce her. We're there for like 13 hours at the most. By 1 p.m, the baby, I'm watching the baby come out because I got to hold up her leg, and she's just pushing and pushing. The doctor, he gets like a suction thing to try to help pull the baby out and such. And it was just almost, and it was surreal to look at, just seeing all of that happening, just to see the baby come out on their own and such. And the cord was wrapped around her throat, which was preventing her to grow and such. And when that happened and such, I don't know how they didn't see that in the ultrasound, but like that's when we just found out why she wasn't growing. So they took it, they had to cut the cord and then try to breathe life into her and such and whatnot. And I was just wondering because we just looking, and I'm like, babes, is she alive? Is she alive? And then out of nowhere, she does that little cry, and that's when
Mhm.
everything just rushed, and I'm like, oh my goodness. That like there's a baby over there. The baby's alive. you know. So definitely that moment right there. that was it was surreal. It was unbelievable, but amazing watching her hold the baby. I was scared to hold her at first, but it was like, you gotta do skin to skin because you're the father, so she needs to know who I am and feel me and know my voice. So just feeling all of that. And she was very tiny too. She was 5 pounds and 2 ounces. So I was like, yo, like that's like almost the size. That's like she could fit in my hand, just in a singular hand and such, and bringing her home after those like the next 2 days and such was like, oh, how are we gonna do this? What are we gonna do? Now we're parents, and and
Mhm.
we ain't got no blueprint to this. We ain't got no. It's not like we got like a book or anything or any sort of guide or for this, but we just got to try to figure it out. Especially how me and her was trying to figure everything out together because we was having our own slew of problems as a couple, and now we brought a life into the world, but we got to try to but we decided that we got to make the best of everything.
All right, man. That's definitely a
It's a doozy.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely a lot, definitely a lot. But you guys made it through it. You know what I mean. And not only did you make it through it, but then you tried again. And so, so with your second daughter, I'm guessing that it wasn't as dramatic, right? Hopefully.
um I'll say it was I'll say it wasn't as dramatic, but it definitely was just equally tough. Equally
Yeah.
tough just to go through and such. I swear there was so many times when we just kept hearing about different things. My wife going through different stuff. They kept saying they talking about how our daughter may have stomach issues or she may have trouble swallowing or it's just so many different things that just coming up, and it was just like one thing after the other, one thing after the other, and it was just like, hey, look, we serve a God. We know that everything is gonna be okay, no matter what we hear, no matter what somebody's saying to us, no matter what we're feeling. God has the final say, and we're just gonna continue to move forward. We're gonna continue to believe that our baby's gonna come out healthy. You're gonna come out healthy. You're gonna come out alive because she's still high risk and such. And they said that she had a lot more amniotic fluid than usual with this one. So she was carrying double. It was almost like she was carrying twins with this one. But believe it or not, this baby came out bigger. She came out 8 pounds, 8 pounds and 4 ounces this time and whatnot. So it was just like damn, like this baby, this baby is way bigger and such. So they still ended up inducing her, but it was much smoother, much smoother, much better and such, and just definitely trying to like navigate and understand that we've been here before. Now we just got to learn how to make that work with having a 3-year-old and a newborn baby.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So in through all of that, just as a father, going through that whole situation, and to be able to now have, not only your wife but both of your daughters still, you know, and what was something would you say that you learned through that whole experience, that you could share with, maybe another young father who, may whose family may be facing something similar, or just some hardships within the birthing process. What would be something that you've learned, or even maybe some advice that you can give to a father who may be experiencing that?
what I can say that I learned through that alone, I think what I can say is I learned that you need to be resilient in what is happening because there's a lot of stress that comes in it. You need to believe that no matter what is going on and what is happening, that everything is going to turn out okay for you guys. And you shouldn't let what nobody say, whatever is happening with your wife, or if she's your girlfriend, if she's your baby mama, anything. If you having a kid and it's tough for you right now, you need to be resilient. You need to be there. You need and more so not just for yourself. you really, really, really need to be there to connect with with the mother of your child. You got to give her so much assurance. You got to give her so much love, so much care, and your presence needs to be there. Not just like just sitting there and not interacting, not doing nothing, but you need to take care of her because she's gonna take care of you. She's gonna take care of your kids. She's gonna do everything that she could in her power. She's already, for one, she's already working 24/7 because she has a baby in her. She's hungrier, she's sicker. It's harder for her to move around. It's harder for her to sleep. She toss and turn at night and such. Trust me, the areas where you need the most patience is when it's time to go to sleep at night and she's tossing and turning and now that's keeping you up and you need to be there to soothe her and you just need to believe that at the end of the day everything is going to work out for you, everything is going to turn out for your good because it's a tough long road, but at the end of the day the journey is the journey is going to be worth it when you find yourself at the end of it, when you find yourself at that mountaintop.
All right, all right. I love it. I love it. So we are going to uh I want to say transfer, but that ain't the word I want to use. We're gonna go
Transition.
into the next transition. Thank you. So you got it. We're gonna transition into the next part, the next segment of the podcast. And so this segment is called "Getting to the Core" segment, right? And so to my listeners, we call it the "Getting to the Core" segment because it's based off of the ebook that I wrote called "The Core Four," which is the core four values that every daughter should get from her father. And you guys can get your copy of the Core 4 at ebooks by ejames.com. And so, Sinbad, I sent you a copy of the ebook so that you can read over it. And so, when we talk about the four core values that every daughter should get from her father, those values are guidance, affirmation, love and affection, and protection. So, out of those four, which one will be, all of them are important, definitely, we know, but which one for you as a father do you think is more important for you to instill in your daughters and why?
So when I read the book, a great book, actually. Everybody who's a dad, a girl dad, even if you're not a girl dad, you should. This is something that you should be teaching your kids. This should be the foundation of your family. First of all, that's what I believe. It's a very good book. All of you guys need to go ahead and check it out. All of you guys need to go purchase it. Do whatever you can to go ahead and get it because you're gonna learn a lot from it. There's a lot that you can definitely learn from that book. From reading the book, when I was reading it, I felt at first I was thinking guidance and such. It's really hard to choose because all of them, to me, all of them, like you said, all of them are extremely important. You know, I don't think it gets any more important than anything than just those four values. But for me, I'll say I was thinking guidance at first because you know you got to teach them how to navigate the world. We're
Mhm.
out there in the world a whole lot more, so we understand how it works. We know what people is out there, who they deal with. We know where they need to go so they can succeed and be great, you know. But as I kept on going, I realized love and affection might be the most important one for me because the it is too like I cannot stress enough how important it truly is for a daughter to feel the warmth of her father when she's touching him, like when she cries and he picks her up and give her a hug, or if she's feeling sleepy, you're going to sleep at night and everything, she's scared or whatever, or and she can't sleep, so you put her on and you lay her head on your chest, or you just give her a hug, or give her a kiss on the forehead and let her know that she is loved in that way, because if she don't get any of those, she's gonna look for that form in any other person and such. And a lot of people is gonna take that for granted. So if we're giving her that type of love and she knows what that is her whole life in her house and whatnot, she'll be able to identify what that looks like outside. So anyone that's not giving her anything remotely close to that, she's gonna be like, "Hey, this ain't for me. This ain't, I'm not used to feeling this, and it feels like less than what my dad gave me, so I don't want it." Like we set the standard for what a man looks like for our children. So that is the thing that I'm learning each and every day. My wife, she even reminds me of that whenever we talk, if we have a disagreement, or if I might just do something like out of character and such, and she's like, "Hey, you got a daughter, bro. Do you want her to have a man? Do you want her to have a man that acts like that? Do you look at yourself and be the man that you will want your daughter to date?" And that's a lot to deal with. That's a lot to think about. So I know now they look out there, they have a saying, "Hey, God gives you a girl just because of how you acted in the past and such." I don't want to believe that, but I definitely I definitely want to take into consideration of the fact that how you act with a woman, how you act with your daughter is going to reflect and come back to you in the future. There's no man in this world that wants to their daughter coming home with a black eye. There's no man in the world that wants to come home with their daughter saying, "Oh, he kicked me out the house because he had an affair and now I can't stay there no more. Can I stay here, daddy?" You don't want to hear none type of stuff like that. Like there's no father in here that don't want to do that. It don't matter how you treat anybody else. You want your daughter to still get the best.
Mhm.
So you got to show them what the best is. So as a father, show them what the best is. So then when she goes out there in the world, she's gonna find the best. She's gonna find better than the best and such. She already have that standard.
All right, all right. Last question, last question. So the book is called The Four Core, and it's the four core values that every daughter should get from her father. But if there could be a fifth value that you could add, what would that fifth value be?
The fifth value would be belief in Christ. That is the most important thing in our lives. All right, if there's anything that's more important than those four values, then it would be believe in the fact that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, He died for us, He gave us life, He created us, and He loves us dearly. And and it's really once you able to pick up your cross, bear it, and understand who you are, you need to come to Christ. One of the things that helped me was the very fact that I had a daughter, and I grew up Christian my whole life and such, but I stepped away from it, and then after being with my wife, having my daughter, realizing that I want them to believe in something, and I want them to believe in something bigger than me. I realized I always had Christ. Christ was there waiting for me, and Christ gave me kids. Christ gave me a wife. Christ made me a better man than what I was in the past few years. Because it's a long story, so I'm not gonna go too much into it. But like through
Right.
2020 all the way to 2020 all the way to now and everything, there was a lot of growth that I had to do because I turned into somebody that I wasn't, and it got to a point to where I couldn't look at myself in the mirror, and I didn't want my daughter to have to deal with a person like that. I don't want my wife to deal with a person like that. And I want my daughters to know that, if there's anything bigger than me, there's Christ because he's gonna change our lives. That's why I'm here. So that's the biggest value. That's the biggest value.
All right, all right. So I'll tell you right now, we're definitely gonna have to get you on the Deal to Heal podcast, and then we can jump into that story.
Yes.
About your life changing experiences, and even as a motivational speaker. Those things we get into that story. So definitely, guys, while you listening to this, we already said it. So we're going to definitely have Sinbad on the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. So make sure, again, you go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, where you will find both podcasts there, as well as some other podcasts. And so we're definitely going to get him on. Simba, I want you to have the last word, right? I want you to have the last word. I want you to leave us with a word of inspiration, motivation, for our fathers, however you feel. And definitely leave your social media handles, where we can find you, where we can follow you, and definitely where someone can get in contact with you in order to to book you to be a speaker at their school or their event. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about that. To my listeners, thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast. If you guys like this podcast and you've thought about starting your own podcast, make sure you go and get your copy of the Start Your Podcast Now ebook. That ebook is also available at ebooksbyejames.com. And I know it works because I wrote it, number one, but not only did I write it, but I actually turned it into a workshop that I've been teaching middle school students and high school students how to start their own podcast using this podcast ebook as a manual. So make sure you guys go. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, somebody who wants to start a podcast, go to ebooksbyejames.com and get your copy of the Start Your Podcast Now in only 3 steps ebook. Again, that's at ebooksbyejames.com. You guys can find that at ebooksbyejames.com. Also, make sure you guys go to our main website, or should I say my main website, which is the dealhealfulfill.org. Again, that's dealhealfulfill.org, because my mission is to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. So when you guys go there, you can find out more information about me as a speaker, as a workshop facilitator, as well as the podcast that I have, and also other things that I have going on. So again, make sure you guys go check out the website at dealhealfulfill.org, and you can find out more information about me. Also, go to ebooksbyejames.com. Again, that's ebooksbyejames.com. We've already talked about 2 of the ebooks that's available, which is the Core 4 and also the Start Your Podcast Now ebook. But there are also 2 other ebooks that are there now, which is the Males to Men ebook, as well as Forgiving Me, the 4 Steps to Self-Forgiveness is also there. So make sure you guys go to ebooksbyejames.com to check out the ebooks that we have there that's available. We also have our inspirational t-shirt line. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear an inspirational tee and be inspired all day. Not only do we have our inspirational t-shirts at the website, the Deal to Heal Tees, that's Deal, the number 2, healtees.com, but we also have our podcast merch, which is our t-shirts with our podcast logos on it. So you can get your podcast t-shirt with the Girl Dare Discussions podcast logo, or with the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast logo, as well as our inspirational t-shirts that's there to have inspirational and motivational quotes on it. Again, that's Deal to Heal Tees. That's Deal, the number 2, healtees.com. Make sure you guys go and check that out. And last but not least, over the last couple of years, I've been able to be a part of an organization called the Forgiveness Mission. And what we do, we have free virtual workshops every other month. And we talk about everything regarding forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, forgiveness of the world, what it means to forgive, who forgiveness is for, just everything regarding forgiveness. I believe that the information is priceless, even though the workshop is absolutely free. So you guys can go to forgivenessmission.com in order to sign up for the next virtual workshop that we'll be having, or you can go to Eventbrite and sign up there. Just look up Forgiveness Workshop held by the Forgiveness Mission, and you guys can go there and sign up for the next forgiveness workshop. So whenever you're listening to this, either one just passed or there's one coming up. So make sure you guys go to forgivenessmission.com and sign up for our free virtual workshop. All right. So again, Sinbad, I want to say thank you for being on. Thank you for sharing your story and your expertise. I want you to have the last say and the last word. So the floor is yours.
Definitely. Once again, thank you so much for having me on. And I'll be honored to join your other podcast, Deal to Heal. It's once again, I just gotta say I love your cause, everything that you're doing for girl dads, everything that you're doing for people to heal, because that is that's one of the most important things that we really need and truly need in our lives. And we're doing that, you're doing that step by step, whether it's through your podcast, whether it's through your ebooks, whether it's through any other means to like speak anywhere. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, and I love it. I love it a lot. For anybody that wants to find me, you can find me anywhere on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Sinbad says that's what it is. SINBAD SAYS. I'm sorry, y'all. And once again, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a musician. I help people with shifting their mindsets. Dealing with things, if you're dealing with things such as you having problems with your wife, you guys are on the verge of a divorce or a breakup. If any of you like got cancer, if anybody lost a job, if you feel like that if any circumstance that comes in your life and it caused you to fall down. If you have problem with your children and it caused you to fall down, get back up. You have a duty, you owe it to yourself to get back up and do everything you can to win. These setbacks aren't here to bring you down. These setbacks aren't stumbling blocks. They're stepping stones so you can win. And the only way you can win is if you get back up. If you don't look down in life, you only can move two directions. That is only down or ahead. And when you move ahead, you can find yourself up at the top of the mountain and enjoy your journey. If you want to learn that, I can coach you through it and help you to shift your mindset so then you can change your narrative and rediscover who you are through transformation. So what I want to say this last thing is, just especially with transformation, I want you to just think about it. Destroy all thoughts of your former self and recreate yourself from scratch. You do that not only just for yourself, but you do that for your family, for the girl dads. You do that for your daughter because she needs you. She needs you more than anything right now. And that's all I got to say.
All right, and we can't end it no better than that. To my listeners, thank you guys. Excuse me. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Girl Dad Discussions podcast, where our mission is to spread the voices of girl dads to the world. So thank you guys once again for listening, for tuning in. Until next time, you guys be blessed.
Yep. You have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with E. James. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our podcast on all your podcast listening platforms. Also, don't keep it to yourself, but share it with someone else. That the Girl Dad Discussions podcast is on the air. Until next time, be blessed.